Welcome back, Ultra Maga Nation citizens, to the shittiest podcast on Rumble. So, do we talk about
It's a lot.
DEI? I'm sure we will.
Oh, yeah.
What about airplanes falling from the sky?
Yeah, or helicopters running into planes.
Or how
There's a lot of people filming these things.
there is.
That's,
World Star.
seems like there's always a camera in the right place for these
It does.
events. It doesn't seem to always be the case. Like every other event, it's usually like a gas station camera.
Yeah.
This time, I guess maybe it's just the abundance of camera phones now. Maybe it's just I'm overthinking that.
I don't know. I thought it was odd that the plane crash in Philadelphia, one of the reporters that we heard talking was like, I just so happened to be in Philadelphia after the plane crash in D.C. that I was covering, and whipped out his phone and started recording all the carnage.
That's random.
It was random. And I found that to be odd as well.
There was one video circulating on X where somebody was filming it and then they said Aloha snack bar.
Oh.
I don't know. That could have been. That's Twitter for you. It could be fake.
Well, and that's like the one that I showed you today where I read that they heard the audio logs and there was something about you messed with the wrong guy.
Yeah.
I'll kill you all.
I saw something on that too where it sounds like it could have also been you're talking to the wrong guy. Where it could have been the co-pilot saying something like, you're messing up right now, basically.
Got you.
But, I don't know.
Well, I guess we'll never know. All right, into the show. No.
And that's it.
But, you know, the fact that we haven't had fatality since 2009 in an airplane, and then in 2 days, 3 aircraft crashed. And I take that back. I'm pretty sure it's a civilian fatality in an airplane.
Right, not
since
military.
2009, because there has been some.
Well, and on January 28th, too, speaking of military, it was an F-35 that just fell out of the sky and blew up. That's not good. Especially if you know anything, which most people do, what it takes to be a pilot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It makes me wonder what's going on.
Especially to pilot those planes.
Yeah, you got to be top of your class.
And
that's like their Delta Force.
So in shape.
Yeah.
Like the amount of G's they take.
And even shaped right? You can't be too big a dude or girl.
You can't. Yeah. You're absolutely correct there. Oh, did you say girls could be? No, Donald Trump's getting rid of women in the workplace.
Right.
It's the dumbest shit. It's their racist banter. I know we touched on it last week, and we're probably going to touch on this a lot because they keep fucking saying it. Today I heard a news anchor say that she hopes white women enjoy not having blueberries in their smoothies, preluding that Mexicans are the only illegal immigrants. That's racism number one.
And not true.
And not true. And that only Mexicans pick blueberries. Also not true. And falsity number 2. And racism number 2. Sorry.
That's what DEI is blatant racism.
It's what it is. It's not diversity, whatever the fuck.
At the end of the day, it might as well be called anti-white straight male.
Yes.
Because that's the whole point of that, is to make sure you don't end up with too many straight white males in a company.
Or anti-white heterosexual Republican woman.
True. Yeah, they don't like those either. They have babies and all that. You know,
that's the one woman that they don't like. Like your Roseanne Barrs and your Congresswoman. We like her.
Oh, Majority Taylor Greene?
Yes. Those are bad. Those are bad women. I guess I'll take that back. It doesn't have to be white anymore. Black people are getting lumped in here too. Your conservative black men and your conservative black women are also being ostracized.
A good example of that is I forget his name, but there's a black Republican guy who was he was loud with his voice for the whole President Trump. He's like, I'm for President Trump. If you tell me who I have to vote for because I'm black, you're racist, which is true.
It is true.
He signed up for it. He makes pancakes now. He has his own pancake factory, or company, I should say, and he applied for the DEI. Now, this is a black man. And he was denied. So essentially what DEI is they're checking your, who you're going to vote for, your political, leaning.
Your social credit score.
Did
he say that? Yes, he did.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what they're doing. If you don't, I mean, honestly, I do wonder. Part of me wonders if this goes back to like even the vaccine and all the shit they were trying to pull with that, was to see how far they could push the American public and how much we would take.
Right.
And you know, it's like Dan Bongino's The Walking Dead theory. When we all thought that COVID was going to kill us, fuck, had I not been so stubborn, I might have gotten the vaccine.
Right.
You know, you start listening to what they say and not actually doing your own research and looking in the science, and you feel like the zombies are at the door, you're going to lock yourself in a prison.
There's a lot of jobs you couldn't even get without you're going to be vaccinated, like all military jobs at that point, where you're getting that vaccine.
Thank God we lived in the free state of Florida.
Mm-hmm. And they encountered so much pushback, they had to chill. Because it was like, this is America. We're not these other countries where we're like, okay. They're like Britain now, where your Facebook posts are going to jail for. Which, as a matter of fact, Britain is having a huge, or UK is having a huge, all the Republicans and conservatives are coming out trying to saying free Tommy Robinson, who was a guy that they sent to prison for his, basically calling out all the illegal immigration over there. Or I guess with them, they're just letting them in legally.
Yeah,
so
well, yeah.
I guess with their laws, it's not technically illegal, right? But
yeah.
Now when you go over there, places like their welfare system, all immigrants. A lot of the places they would go, like parks, they've all taken it over and made it like their culture. From wherever they're from. So it's like, and they just think that's cool. Like that's okay. And it's not okay.
Like when you integrate into a country, you're supposed to integrate into that country, not try to force it to be the place that you're trying to leave.
And the old school way we do that is a certain somebody would come from that country, get high up in politics, and then create their own little area where those people would be. And I mean, if you want to go that route, that is the way you do it.
And it's
you don't force it on people. You don't act like when people start bringing up things, you don't pop up at their house and take them to prison.
No, especially
that's
if
what Russia does.
Yeah, or the UK.
Mm-hmm. The UK now, yeah.
I guess they have a lot more in common with Vladimir than they thought.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own gulag.
And Canada's right there on the door for that. So.
But I mean, well, back to the UK. What do you expect though? They're still in. Like, I know they're not a traditional sense of monarchy, but they still have a king and a queen.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell me that that's 90% show, and they have parliament. But then, how come the Queen of England owned all the swans? Yeah. Every swan was hers.
Oh, they even have their own hunting grounds.
So
if you go shoot stuff on their hunting grounds, you get in trouble.
Yeah.
Which, you shoot anything on hunting grounds that aren't legally you're allowed to be on, you shouldn't be doing that. It's kind of stupid anyway. You're shooting a gun at the end of the day. So
they have guns?
Yeah, I wonder what they hunt with over there. I guess only the royals have guns. You probably got to hop out there with the spear.
That's right.
Which would be pretty cool. But, it should be an option. I believe they call that slocking here in the States.
Didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Learn something new every day. Educational here, too. Don't forget, slocking is hunting with a spear in America.
Mm-hmm.
I probably said it wrong. I think that's right. I hope so, because we're going to put this out there in front of all the 200.
Yeah, if it's something different, let us know.
And get people to follow us. Like, I know we're not for everybody, but we are for you.
For you.
Citizen. That's right, citizens. We're all citizens here. Fuck, we totally just went.
Yeah, we went way off sideways with that.
Anyway, so getting back to the DEI, so you start seeing like, and my wife is the one that actually brought this up to us tonight. All of you liberal idiots that think that some guy returning something to Target is showing how effective it is. You're comprised of like 4% of the population.
Yeah.
And
that never works anyway.
And we were talking about this too. If you really want to know how prideful a company is, I want you liberals take notes. I know you're stupid sometimes, so take notes. Or type it on your phone. Sorry, I thought you might believe in paper. What I want you to do is look up your favorite company and then type Saudi next to it during Pride Month.
Or check the Time magazines too.
Wait a minute. Isn't February Pride Month?
No, it's Black History Month.
Oh, that's right.
Another identity, politics fucking month. Which, I mean, if you're going to have a black history, you should probably have a white history, but...
That's racist.
I guess that's racist to even say that.
Which doesn't make sense to me.
But Trump's talking about changing Pride Month federally to Veterans Month.
Oh, I
military.
like that.
I like that. They deserve more recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's funny when you talk about Black History Month and you say, well, we don't have a white. The main argument is every month is White History Month. Well, lately it's felt like every month is fucking Pride Month.
Yeah, it has.
Even in TV shows and everything, it's like, really, we get it. We know it exists out there. We don't have to see it.
But my thing with that is, once again, it's going back to what I was just talking about. It's a company that is literally just trying to get you to buy their shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they're trying to do. So, like, for instance, during Pride Month, I actually did this myself. I looked up Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz North America had the pride flag, everything else. You know what Mercedes-Benz Saudi had? None of that shit. Because they don't fucking care. No. They don't really give a fuck about what you want them to believe in. Shit. They just want you to buy their shit. They just want you to. They want you to buy shit.
The same reason they're getting rid of DEI now is like we all like to believe. They're doing it because they're coming to our side. No, they're just not getting grants anymore for it. When they were originally doing the DEIs because they got a big chunk of cash for it.
Yeah, I'm not happy that these other companies are coming back to the non-DEI because once again they're just doing it because number one, they realize that the majority of America doesn't give a fuck about that shit. And number two, they're not going to get money from the government.
Mm-hmm.
Has nothing to do with what I personally believe in.
I look at Bud Light now. They've gone completely the other way. They got Post Malone on there and Shane Gillis doing their whole, suburb guy.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but
they're trying.
Once again, they're pandering to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get all of us citizens back on their side. Like, here's the thing. There is no forget.
Right.
There is no forget. I'm not going to forget. And it's not a forgive thing because I had no emotional interest invested in most of these companies. But there is no forget. I'm not going to forget. I'm not going to forget the companies that said if you don't get this toxic shot in your arm, that you can't come into my store. I'm not going to forget that.
Right.
I'm not going to forget all the dumb shit that all of the people that weren't able to say goodbye to loved ones that were dying because you weren't allowed to go in there because Dr. Fauci just said so with no scientific backing whatsoever. I actually heard one doctor say with COVID specifically, it was such a highly contagious disease that you would have to be stupid to think that what we did would have done anything.
Right.
Well, because it's just that contagious.
It's the common cold. Everybody's everybody's going to start getting it.
It is the common cold. Mm-hmm. It's literally a coronavirus. As a matter of fact, I had somebody show me before, like right after COVID first started, Lysol said kills the coronavirus. Was it you?
I think it might have been. Yeah.
Okay. It very well could have been. I mean, we work together.
That's right. It's true.
So, most of my stories, you have like a 20% chance that it was you.
Right.
But the point is it is the coronavirus. It's just a cold. And there was no fucking way that locking us down in our houses, preventing us from going anywhere, was going to help.
Loved ones, all that.
Yeah, that died. There's at least one of the 218 members that are following us right now that lost somebody that they weren't able to see because you lived in a state that decided that Anthony Fauci knew what he was talking about when he did.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and all the doctors, which they were getting paid to do all
this.
They're
on the payroll, yeah.
They were saying the same thing, selling those shots and boosters, which now it's like pretty much known that those will, have a potential to fuck you right up.
I found one doctor, and she prayed with me, and then she gave me ivermectin. I'm sorry, hydroxychloroquine.
Right.
The second time it was ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. Yeah. The second time she gave me ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, all I did was take the hydroxychloroquine. It made sense to me. It's an antiviral. We're dealing with a virus. And it worked.
Which is interesting. I wonder, because if you had a loved one die from COVID, they cut you $1,000 check.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Which is interesting to me.
Well, and I also know that the reason you had all the false COVID deaths was because the hospitals got paid. I can't remember. The number 16,000 is sticking out in my head. That could be wrong. Yeah. But they got paid X amount of dollars for every person that got a COVID death. I talked to one person that was actually a doctor, and they said that their son died in a motorcycle accident. Hit a car on a motorcycle without a helmet, died. And they tested him for COVID, and they put down that he died of COVID. So,
That's just insane.
And a lot of this is just us informing you on how the government has lied to you.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a little off tangent, but it still makes sense in the end. We'll sew it all together. But everything is, my point to that was everyone is just pandering to you, and we're not going to forget.
Mm-hmm.
We're not. You know, I'm going to remember that Bud Light had a fucking trans dude on a can and made it specially for him. I'm going to remember that.
Whatever happened to that dude?
I don't know.
A guy acting like a woman.
Hopefully he went and sought professional help and got what he needed and was able to overcome the identity crisis that he was going through. That's what I hope for. That's what I hope for all of you trans people out there. I hope that instead of them pandering to your thoughts, like we would no longer do with a schizophrenic any more than we would do with Charles Manson, and go, oh yes, the purple dragons in the corner of the room are real. I just can't see them. Like, that's not what you do with somebody that has a mental disorder. You don't feed into it, because
for their feelings. What
happens is where we're at now. You have a bunch of older people that mutilated their bodies that are now committing suicide. So your whole argument that doing this is to prevent suicide is moot, because it's still happening, and it's at a higher rate than people that got mental health help.
Right.
So go get help. It's stupid. You're those that pander to this, you're stupid.
Well, then you get that guy. He's like talking about how many days of womanhood. He's just like, no, you're not. You don't know what a woman goes through, man. You're a dude.
You're a dude. You don't. And women don't know what men go through. No. And we never will.
Well, the one,
the one that killed herself?
Well, the Ellen Page, she turned herself into a...
Oh, that's the actress.
Weird thing. Yeah.
Right.
So she's gotten no acting role since she did that. No one really cares anymore. It's like, welcome to being a man. But you're not a man.
So there was this chick that was an author, I think. I should really think about this shit, or look this shit up before I talk about it.
Right.
But she wrote a book, and she basically transitioned to a man. And after... I really should have looked this up. I don't remember the amount of time, but it was a couple years, I believe.
Right.
She wrote her book, and then she committed suicide. Because that's how hard it was to be a man. Especially when you go from being a woman where you're pretty and everybody gives a shit.
Right.
They give a shit. They just give a shit because you remind them of their sister, their mother, their whatever. As a man, you don't get that.
Nah, you know that.
There's no automatic pity. No. As a matter of fact, there's automatic, like, can I take this dude?
Right.
And as a kid, I mean, there's not, can I take this dude? But it's still like, you're a boy. Suck it up.
Right. Which is important.
It is. But it's still completely different than women.
Whole different ball game.
So, but what do you think's going on with the fact that they were holding off the helicopter pilot's name?
Well, I thought she might have been under some investigation, but it happened within a couple of days. So now I think that they were just maybe trying to hold out for the family. But either way, it's it's all right to know.
And then she ended up being one of the White House aides for Joe Biden during his vice presidency. That's kind of an odd coincidence.
That is.
Very odd. That was one of the Black Hawk people in the Black Hawk. I don't know.
I believe that was the pilot.
Pilots. Okay.
I think she was a pilot. The pilot was the most important one, and they weren't releasing that name for a while. I thought she might have been under some of it. She still could have. Yeah. Still might be under some investigation by the FBI for something, maybe, some kind of terror link or something. But no one's made that connection yet. So, you don't want to jump to that immediately because, for the obvious reasons, cause panic.
Yeah.
But people are panicking already.
Well, yeah, airplanes are falling out of the sky.
So it's like, now, there's a while back, a lot of people have brought it up, including like Alex Jones, where they have let a lot of sleeper cells in here that they could have possibly gotten into the military or something, and now they're, acting out on what they're supposed to do. But once again, no proof of that.
Then there's our wild theory.
What is that?
The roaming trans.
The roaming trans sleeper cell. Yeah.
The roaming trans sleeper cells. But there's science behind that.
Right.
Go ahead and explain.
Talking about when she shot the border. He or she, whatever it is, shot the Border Patrol agent. I think it was about a few days ago. And they found, cell phones wrapped in tinfoil, things of that nature, high-powered weapons, things that you would need a little training to understand that. And, to do all that kind of stuff is kind of a guerrilla warfare type deal.
It definitely is.
So that's not just your run-of-the-mill crazy person that has a pistol or something and is just losing their shit. When you got cell phones covered in tinfoil, you're actively trying to stop yourself from being tracked.
Yes, absolutely. Since you notice how he said high-power rifle and not assault rifle.
Right.
I would just like to point that out. But, so, thank God the DEI is getting the fuck out of here. But don't fall in the trap for all these companies. And I'm talking to the Republicans, the MAGA crowd. I'm talking to all y'all that are like, we're getting away from DEI. If they thought that going and staying with DEI would continue to make them money, they would. As a matter of fact, and I don't respect them at all, but if I had any respect, it would be for the companies that are sticking by the DEI. And not because they're sticking by the DEI, but because they're not chasing dollars.
Right. They're sticking to
they're sticking to their guns on what they believe is the right or cause. Now, I still think they're fucking stupid, but I can commend somebody for standing up for what they believe in and not just chasing dollars.
Right.
At first, I stupidly almost fell into it. I was like, ooh, I know where I could spend my money. But like the more I sat there and thought about it, it was like, nah, that's what they want me to do. That's why they're doing this. Because they realize pandering to a smaller sect of society is not going to be advantageous to make them more dollars. And like, I get, like, I'm in sales. So I get that companies want to sell their shit. But too much is too much. And I'm not going to forget. What were we talking about? I'm just kidding.
I already forgot.
So, the airplane that fell down in Philly, like, that looked like a fucking missile.
Yeah, and it didn't fall. It was like, it was aiming for it.
We've all seen, like, the normal airplane.
Even the F-35, it was like twirling. Like it stalled out or something.
Oh, speaking of the F-35, do you remember when the other incident with the F-35 where the pilot ejected, but it stayed in like ghost mode and just kept flying?
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
That is crazy.
It could do that, and I want to know if it landed.
Right? I don't think it did. I think it crashed.
Because if it landed, I don't know, and I will look into this. But if it landed, like, Oh, also speaking of the F-35 and the F-22. They're integrating the AI enhanced flight or pilotless drones to fly with them now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about Skynet starting to take over so soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that. That's exactly how you get a Skynet situation.
So we'll see. But I mean, I get it. If I can send 10 drones in and not lose a good pilot.
Yeah, I mean that's the way to do it. But if you don't know what Skynet is, watch Terminator. That's how you get that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's actually an AI that's called Skynet.
It's in China.
Is it?
From what I understand, it's not a full AI.
No, that's deep search, right?
Mm-mm.
No, okay.
No, this is like an actual system they use for something.
Yeah,
and
so
they named it Skynet.
All of you dipshits downloading Deep Search or whatever the fuck the new
DeepSeek, I want to say
DeepSeek.
Yeah,
like it's in the name, bro. It's going through all your shit.
Yeah, even worse than TikTok was.
Like its name is literally DeepSeek. It is seeking deep through all of your electronic shit.
Businesses have it now.
Bank account records. I mean, it'll get whatever it wants from you.
Mm-hmm.
Once you put it on your phone.
Yep. So probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. But I mean, free country. Do what you want. But I'm not.
Nah, I didn't have TikTok though. So
I've never had a TikTok either.
I mean, for me, they show the reels off that on every other app. So
yeah, and I knew China was collecting all the data, so I was like, not that they're gonna get a lot from me.
When the military doesn't allow their people to have that app on their phone, it's like,
Yeah, it does speak a little bit.
It's a little bit of a red flag.
But I mean, realistically, when they go into those top secret shits, they got to leave their phone in a fucking Faraday box, as far as I understand. So it's not even like...
That makes sense.
Yeah, with them, they're like, nah, you can't even bring the phone in here. But I honestly think, and this thought just occurred to me, that has to do with Pegasus, which is that app where they just can get on your phone and just listen to all your phone calls, text messages, everything, and you'll just never know. Like, there's not like when you're recording and the little green light shows up on your phone to show you that you're recording, you just won't know with that one.
Yeah. They'll just do it.
Also, the other day I asked my Google if she was working for the CIA, and she said that basically she does store everything and she will give it to whatever law enforcement agency on a case-by-case basis.
Domestic agency.
So
that's what the CIA has to have a domestic agency attached because they can't do anything in America.
Which is crazy because it's called the Central Intelligence
Yeah.
Agency.
Yeah, it's weird. You know, that could just be a front. I saw that in a movie. So
And then the FBI is called
Just
the
be all-
Federal Bureau of Investigation. I would think they would be backwards.
Right.
Like, you know, like Greenland and Iceland. The one's green, but it's not Greenland.
That's just such a cool sounding name, man. The Bureau.
Bro, Trump, when he told Trudeau. So apparently I read this. People that were at the Trump Trudeau thing, Trudeau was like, how are you're going to kill Canada's economy, yada, yada, if you do this. And he's like, well, maybe you could become the 51st state governor. Well, apparently, like, that was a conversation that they had before he came out and started telling everybody that Governor Trudeau was going to be great. Which I just love the...
What do you call it? Yeah.
It's je ne sais quoi that Trump has. I mean, that's what it is. I was trying to think of a dumber word to say there. But that's the only one I can come up with because he's out here just fucking doing work.
Yeah, all these reporters with their questions, they're not used to him anymore. They're used to Biden.
Yeah.
They had to hire more stenographers for Trump.
Jean.
Yeah. Jean-Pierre.
Yeah. The new press secretary, she is a fucking killer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they're talking shit about her because she's a woman. I heard Joy Behar, I think is what her fucking stupid name is, say, I'm pretty sure this is what Trump would call she's a 10, so she gets the job. Have you not realized that he does not hire because of DEI, which would be what that is?
He's hired so many women for positions. What can they even say?
But when the women he hires, they're fucking killers at what they do.
That must have been the one where she wore like a little bit of a shorter dress, and they were all the liberals got mad because they're like, this isn't Hooters. But it's funny because that was a dude up there in a dress. They'd have been like, you go, girl.
Yeah, they would have.
So it's like, wait, you mad that she's hot? Like, what? Real women can be attractive. It's okay.
And maybe she didn't get her job because of that.
I doubt it. Because if Trump was into that, he'd have fucking had a black vice president.
Well, yeah, and he could have picked one.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just saying, maybe he didn't hire her because of how she looked. Maybe he hired her because she can go out there and be a stone cold fucking killer, which is what she's done. She's literally
handling her job, not like Jean, who has to just refer you to someone else, and then the answer just never happens, or she ignores the question and just rambles on and accuses you of something. That's all she did. She never really answered any questions.
She didn't.
That's literally her job, is to answer the press's questions.
And they're bringing in new age media, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Alex Jones said he's going to try to get in there.
I think we should try to get in there.
Right?
We have zero chance, but I think we should try. Ultra Maga Nation. Bring us out there.
Right?
Bring them out. Bring them out.
You got to apply. There's an application you got to do.
Yeah, I'll look into
how
it.
that works.
Fuck it.
But yeah.
That's right. I might drive.
Yeah.
Oh, that might be too soon. It wasn't a bad one, but you know what you're seeing this president do in just mere 13, I can't tell what the date is, 11 days, 12 days.
It's first.
12 days. Versus what we saw President Biden do in the last 12 months.
Yeah, and like I said, they had to hire more stenographers for Trump because they're so used to Biden, who just says the bare minimum, dodges press conferences, just sleeps it off.
And the amount of
vacations,
heart that I see from this man. Like, he's out there just telling them. Like, no, that's not happening. I told, the reporter that was going, hey, are you going to visit the crash site? And he's like,
Yeah.
you want me to go in the water?
Yeah.
Like that was a bad question or some shit.
Yeah, he
like
said it
that.
was a stupid question.
Yeah,
I'm
like
surprised coming from you. But then again, he said you're for the stupid organization or something. Yeah, he's just telling him, well, I mean, it's like he's got to now. He can't, because like when he first was president, he played ball a little bit.
and he got fucked.
Yeah.
And while he's getting fucked, the economy still kicked ass.
Mm-hmm.
Groceries still went down in price. Gas was still fucking sub $2.
Yeah, like he got right to work. Where one of the first things Biden did was he hired a whole team to come up with a basically he hired a whole team to shape his presidential legacy, which is also a waste of money. One, because
yes.
it is trash, and that's just very conceited. That's what a king does.
It is.
Like, make a painting of me.
Let's start building my tomb.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Whereas Trump's getting right to work for the people like you're supposed to do as a president.
I'm sure he's not getting paid this time either.
Yeah, I don't think he is.
I'm sure. Like I don't even like I think last time I learned that he had to take $1.
Right. Just for legal reasons.
Yes. And then the rest of it at that point he has to donate to government organizations is the way I understand it. Which like my question with that is where did that rule come from?
Mm-hmm.
Because
You get Doge on that.
whoever, like, what? Name one other president that said he wasn't going to take any money.
Yeah, there wasn't one.
Now I don't know what happened in the beginning.
Well, Washington was literally the richest president ever,
Okay.
from what I understand.
Well, he was a badass general for years, though. So, like a badass, like standing on the fucking boat in the Potomac.
But you got to think about that, man. That's pretty hardcore.
It is.
We were built a little different back then. They're still out there.
Well, fuck. I'm not comparing Donald Trump to George Washington, but I do believe that I believe that George Washington would carry this bravado.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
That's what I mean. I'm not saying Donald Trump is as great of a president as George Washington or anything else, because I personally think George Washington is probably one of the greatest presidents we ever had.
Yeah.
That would have been the hardest time to be a president in a fledgling country where at any given moment anyone could turn on you. Like, think about it.
Which happened a lot in those days. Royalists.
Yes.
What they were called.
So, that's where that stands from. And there's lots of great presidents. Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, along with hundreds of thousands of white people that died in the process to make sure that could happen.
Mm-hmm. I've forgotten about fact a lot of the time.
Yeah, it is very forgotten about.
Because a lot of people think that was the first time in history slavery ever happened. It was not.
It's not. It still happens. It's actually more prevalent today than it was then.
Mm-hmm. A lot more slavery going on in other places besides America.
Well, and, if you give them $3.50 an hour, they'll pick your blueberries. That was completely sarcastic. You didn't pick up on that.
That's you're exploiting them. When you do
but I paid them $3.40.
Yeah,
They're
don't
not
have to put insurance on them. You don't. There's no labor law with them.
You just hide the body if they get hurt by a machine.
Right.
Nobody ever knew he was there. Like, that's shitty.
Pure exploitation.
So, let's see. What else do we need to touch on here? We hit the DEI. We hit the airplanes. We're not flying a Black Hawk.
Right? Too soon.
That's right. Too fucking soon. I'm
tired to think Blackhawks could be controlled remotely.
Oh, they can. DARPA did it.
So I'm wondering what's going on with that.
I was wondering that too. I was wondering if there was actually pilots.
That thing is just going for it, man. Like, it was like aiming for it.
So the video I saw, it looked like the helicopter's in a hover position and the jet just smacked it.
Oh, okay.
That's the video. Now, that's if I'm seeing it, but
just, perspective.
It very well could be.
Theory of relativity. Right? I don't know.
E equals MC squared.
Yeah. Not smart enough for that. If you're smart enough, put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments.
What else is there?
I think that's it. I think we hit everything.
That's about it, yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, once again, it's been a pleasure. From my couch to yours. Follow us on X.
Truth.
Well, that's a moot. Rumble. Definitely follow us on Rumble. Like, share the videos. We need more subs, guys. We need more subscribers.
Definitely need more of that.
Facebook. We have a fucking great group on Facebook where we like to post stupid shit that would usually get you kicked out of most groups.
Well, they're stopping censoring now, right?
Yeah, so we're
supposedly, because when Mark Zuckerberg first said that, he was not doing that. He said that, and then you couldn't post certain things about Trump. Still.
Oh, my favorite meme is the one that's talking about the T2000 has more life like skin.
So true. He got his little chain, grew his hair out, grew a
little
beard.
Dude, you know who he reminds me of? What's that Jewish rapper dude?
Oh.
You know who I'm talking about? He was really famous for like 3 years, and then he just kind of went away. Little Dicky.
Oh, Little Dicky, yeah.
He kind of looks like Little Dicky.
He does look like Little Dicky.
He kind of looks like Little Dicky.
Good rap.
Mark. Zuck.
Yeah. Well,
bust a flow, bro.
Look up if you want to see how fake Mark Zuckerberg is. Watch his Joe Rogan interview, and then especially the part about bow hunting. Watch this dude completely get called out for not bow hunting, because Joe Rogan's like, "Oh yeah, what kind of bow you got?" I forgot. So you obviously don't bow hunt.
Oh,
so when he's talking about bow hunting, you can tell he's lying. He's trying to he's being a T2000. He was trying to relate. He was doing the thumbs up. He's a hasta la vista, baby. That's what he sounded like talking about bow hunting.
So it was kind of like Tampon Tim loading a shotgun.
Yeah,
that's his personal shotgun that he's had for years and years. We're doing terrible wrapping up this episode. Yeah. Anyway, guys, Ultra Maga Nation, follow us. Peace. We out of here.
Peace.